Imagine a world where reality is not what it seems, a world where the objects around us, the chairs we sit on, the trees we admire, even the stars in the night sky, exist only because we perceive them. This is the world of George Berkeley, an 18th century philosopher whose radical ideas challenge our most fundamental assumptions about existence, perception, and the nature of reality. Berkeley's philosophy, known as Idealism, asserts that the material world is not independent of the mind. Instead, he argues that everything we know and experience is a product of perception. At the heart of Berkeley's philosophy is a simple yet revolutionary idea: to be is to be perceived. In other words, existence depends on perception. If something is not perceived, whether by a human mind or the divine mind of God, it cannot truly be said to exist. Berkeley challenges the common belief that objects exist independently of our perception. He writes, "It is indeed an opinion strangely prevailing amongst men, that houses, mountains, rivers, and in a word all sensible objects have an existence natural or real, distinct from their being perceived by the understanding." He argues that this belief is a mistake, a kind of intellectual dust that clouds our vision. As he puts it, we have first raised a dust and then complain we cannot see. For Berkeley, the only thing that has absolute existence is the mind, or spirit. He states, the only thing that has any absolute existence is mind, or spirit. This means that the material world is not a collection of independent objects, but a collection of ideas perceived by minds. Berkeley's philosophy raises a fascinating question. What is the nature of these ideas? He explains, ideas can only resemble ideas. In other words, our perceptions are not copies of external objects. They are the objects. The chair you see is not a representation of some external chair. It is the chair itself, existing as an idea in your mind. Berkeley warns against the confusion that arises when we fail to understand the nature of perception. He writes, "Nothing seems of more importance towards erecting a firm system of sound and real knowledge than to clear the first principles of knowledge from being embarrassed and entangled. To build true knowledge, we must first untangle our misconceptions about perception and reality." For Berkeley, the mind is not just a passive receiver of information, it is the source of reality itself. He declares, the mind is the source of reality. This means that everything we perceive, whether it's the warmth of the sun or the sound of a bird's song, exists because it is perceived by a mind. Berkeley extends this idea to the entire universe. He writes, "All the choir of heaven and furniture of the earth have not any subsistence without a mind. Even the vastness of the cosmos depends on perception for its existence." But what about truth? Berkeley acknowledges that truth is often elusive. He observes, "Truth is the cry of all, but the game of few." Yet he rejects the notion that truth is unattainable. He warns, "He who says there is no such thing as truth, or that it is unattainable by us, does not refute, but only lays the foundation of skepticism." For Berkeley, truth is not only possible, it is essential. Berkeley's philosophy also offers a way to navigate the darkness of ignorance. He writes, "The eye by long use comes to see even in the darkest cavern. With time and effort we can train our minds to perceive the truth more clearly." At its core, Berkeley's idealism invites us to reconsider our relationship with the world. He reminds us, sense perceives nothing which is not dependent on the mind. This means that the world we experience is deeply intertwined with our own consciousness. Berkeley also urges us to think critically about the ideas we accept as truth. He advises, We ought, therefore, to think with caution of what others teach us as philosophy. True wisdom, he suggests, comes from questioning and reflecting on our own perceptions. For Berkeley, the mind is not just the source of reality, it is also the source of wisdom and virtue. He writes, "The source of all wisdom and virtue is the mind, which is the source of all existence." This elevates the mind to a position of profound importance, not just in philosophy, but in our daily lives. Berkeley's philosophy is a call to awareness, a reminder that the world we perceive is a reflection of our own minds. As he puts it, the world is but the collection of ideas, and the source of ideas is spirit. The ideas of George Berkeley challenge us to see the world in a new light. By understanding the role of perception in shaping reality, we can deepen our appreciation for the mind's power and the interconnectedness of all things. The journey begins with a single thought. I'm grateful for the moments shared in discourse. May our paths cross again in the fullness of time.